Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to One More Take, the podcast where we talk about one topic for about 20 minutes and then just go on tangents for ages.
Damn, that is so accurate.
Today I'm joined, as always, by the great Colby and the great Cooper. How you doing, boys?
We're doing good.
Yeah.
Excellent. And as always, we start our little episodes with a little catch-up of what we've been watching. So, Cooper, what have you been watching?
I have actually gone back and rewatched The Hobbit
Ooh.
after probably 4 or 5 years.
It's been a minute.
It has absolutely been a minute.
Any prefer it now? Happier with it?
You know what? I think I appreciate it a little better
Okay.
in
Yep.
hindsight.
Did you feel as though you were maybe too harsh?
I was about right, but I've just got a little bit more like, okay, I can,
Little bit of
given
context.
everything that's
Yep.
been going on, I can appreciate it for what it is.
Swear, you keen for War of the Rohirrim? Did you see that announcement?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, it looks
Very-
fucking sick.
very
I'm
keen.
excited. I'm excited. Colby, what have you been watching?
Honestly, I haven't really watched any stuff. I've been more into just some video game stuff and YouTube.
Yeah. Cool.
Other than the movie we're doing today, I haven't really watched anything in the last 2 weeks.
No, it's good to take a little break. It's good to just decompress, allow everything to settle back down, and then jump back into it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I've been watching a lot. Me and the missus have been going through what we're referring to as our film era, where we're watching like less TV. Granted, we've been smashing through some Friends, which is always a staple.
Yep.
But we watched Mr. Deeds recently.
Oh, the Jim Carrey one.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler, that's what I
Yeah.
meant. Yeah, with Winona Ryder.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wicked. So fun. Still super funny. He pretty much wrote a movie where he plays the most wholesome human being in the world. Like Mr. Deeds, you just cannot fault that guy. He's so nice. Takes care of everybody.
Fucking Steve Buscemi as
Steve Buscemi. Yeah,
Steve
with the
Buscemi with
wonky
always the
eye.
eyes.
Yeah.
He's always playing those characters.
Peanut butter and gumball. It's my favorite. That's what. Okay.
I haven't seen that in ages.
I'm going to start this episode with a tangent. Sorry, everybody who's here to talk about Sweeney Todd. The fact that Steve Buscemi is like this incredibly talented actor with such an amazing pedigree of films behind him, just to see him pop up in these Adam Sandler films is just the most ridiculous characters. Makes me so happy he exists and is happy to do shit like that.
Have you seen him in the the one with Stalin, the Death of Stalin?
Oh yeah, that's an
Yeah,
awesome
that's a
movie
good
as
one.
well. Is it called The Death of Stalin?
I think it is because it's planning on his death.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Death of Stalin,
Yeah, sweet.
When
yeah.
was that released?
2017,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which feels recent, but it
and
wasn't.
it's got some good comedians behind it.
Yeah, it's got a
What's
good
his name?
cast.
Can't say I've seen it. Who's on the cast?
Jeffrey Tambor, Steve Buscemi,
Yeah.
Jason Isaac.
Buscemi.
Oh, Isaacs. Fuck
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
good. It's definitely worth a watch. All right, on to our main topic for the day, just to get us off tangents right away. This week, we are doing our first ever musical on the pod, Sweeney Todd. And it was a bold musical, I reckon, to start off with. There are so many, like, other entry points into this genre of film. I think we picked a pretty intense one.
Could have gone with a classic Wizard of Oz. Nah, Sweeney Todd, man.
Sweeney Todd.
Oh,
Had you guys seen this film prior to preparing for this pod?
well, yeah. I've watched it like three times. 4 including the one I currently watched.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it every time. It's just the songs are so good,
Yeah.
and Johnny Depp is
He's-
goated in this.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome in this movie. It's undeniable.
I did not know Johnny Depp had some vocals on him.
Yeah.
Holy shit. No,
He-
that was a
He's got a nice voice.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
range, yeah.
no.
Yeah. And because he plays a lot of music and there's heaps of footage of him playing live. He's a really good guitarist as well.
I've seen
Right.
those ones. Yeah.
I've seen some cool clips of him hanging out with like what's his name, like Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones, and
Yep.
they're just like having jams and chilling out and smoking clove cigarettes, and I'm just like, God, that's cool.
No, that's sick. Honestly, for a while, I just thought he was one of those actors who just had a music career that didn't really go anywhere. You know, everyone forgets about it. But no, he actually has some chops on him.
Yeah, dude
And-
can jam.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't expect, is it Bonacarta?
Yeah, Helena Bonham
That's
Carter.
the one.
Yeah,
Completely fucked that up.
incredible as well. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
wicked in
nice.
this
Their
movie.
chemistry in whenever they do a movie together, it's so fucking good, man.
It's undeniable, and it's always helmed by the great. I've just forgotten his fucking name. I don't know why I can only think of
Tim
Tim
Burton.
Minchin. Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
The three of them are goated together.
Yeah, they are just made for each other. Fantastic production. I've seen Sweeney Todd like a ton of times. I remember coming across it when I was like maybe 14 and being like, oh.
I probably would have been about the same-ish, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I was hell unsure
maybe a
about
bit
it.
younger.
I was
I
like,
don't know.
I was like, I don't know if I'll enjoy this. And I gave it a crack and was like, this is lit. And I was like, I don't know about you guys, but I was a musical theatre kid at school. I'd do all of the drama shit. I was like auditioning for stuff. I wanted to like I loved it. I was always trying to find an opportunity to get in front of a microphone, as like kind of I still do now. So this spoke to me like almost instantly. I did notice though, I suppose this would have been the first time I really like sat down and watched it with a real fine-tooth comb, gave it an analytical swing. And I think I had the same kind of thoughts when I was younger as well, but did you guys find that the blood effects were kind of really weird and not blood?
It's 07.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel as though they had blood down before then. Like they were doing blood and all sorts
but
of shit.
this is also Tim Burton.
See, and like that's sort of where I kept
It's
landing
very
as well.
stylistic with his choices.
100%. Because I just felt as though it was really runny and very watery.
If anything, I just feel like it goes more with his very classy sense of noir when he captures that.
Yeah.
It's less gruesome.
Yeah.
As bloody as it is, it didn't feel anywhere near as gruesome as most of the slashes you'd watch.
Yeah.
So if anything, I feel like it is intentional. It's meant to be very stylistic.
Yeah, I think so. Because it's like you'd know. I'd feel as though like that is like you have to make the decision to make it look like that. Because we've like even in as you say, like older slasher films and things like that, it's like the blood's way darker and way thicker, more viscous. Whereas this blood was very, and like, once again, stylistically, they really wanted to squirt and gush and run like crazy.
Because I've got the Blu-ray disc of this.
Yep.
So it had the behind the scenes on that. And
Yep.
when I've watched those, it's like it showed you how they did it.
Yeah.
And like it was like the rubber casing on the outside, and it's just
And they just
squeezing
pumping blood through it. I wonder how much blood they went through on the set of Sweeney Todd.
Oh, a few liters easily.
Easily.
How
a
much
few liters.
digital blood as well, man.
You reckon?
Because definitely in the last shot when it's Sweeney lumped over his wife,
yeah.
you can clearly see it, and even then the opening cutscene that was
Yes.
It's weird to see like a full CGI opening like that.
Yeah.
Like it's very reminiscent of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Can I just say
Another
Tim Burton,
Johnny Depp one.
Yep.
There you go. I miss having those opening credits that would just let you take in the atmosphere of what you're going to dive into.
Wicked music.
And then just seeing the ship come through the
fog.
It was
brilliant.
It made me miss something. They had some sauce there and they
Yeah.
missed it.
Yeah, 100%. I think, and it's one of those things as well where, and this is something I've realized over time as someone who was really into theatre as a kid and who's seen a lot of productions live. I find it quite difficult to watch a musical in a film format. And I think the reason why I find it kind of difficult is when you're watching a musical, you've got two characters that can break out into song. They know all the lyrics, they know all the dance moves and like where to be and things like that. And you've still got all of these because it's a film and therefore it's like set in a real world, not on a stage. You've got, extras walking around and people just living their life. And I'm always like, man, are these other people like, what the fuck are these people just like singing a song and dancing to a beat and like they wouldn't hear any music. Like
I was thinking about that in the song Little Priest.
Yeah, Try the Priest.
No.
Try the priest. Have a little priest.
Yeah, that one. That was on my Spotify. When I'd be going to uni, I just have that on because it's such a bop of a song.
It is.
No,
there's a lot of bangers.
it's the one when It's the one when he's screaming because the judge just left, saying, "I'm never coming back here."
Yeah.
During that song when he's just
he's hell angry.
Hell angry through the streets and just walking backwards and
you sir.
And now I was like, this song's a bop. But on top of that, I'm just thinking about it. What is it without the song? He's just this random nutter coming up to you, sir.
Would you like a shave? It's like, yeah, exactly.
I'm just thinking of that shot, like where it's craning overhead on the street, and there's shitloads of people walking.
That's
past.
the one I was thinking of as well. Yeah,
that exact shot.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I think Sweeney Todd, like the film, does such a good job of like walking that line though between, because for example, I recently watched Hairspray. And that's a very like colorful, very positive musical with like good vibey themes, and it's all about dancing and singing and having fun, and everyone's included. Whereas this is just like, this fucking douche judge like destroyed my wife, stole my daughter, ruined my life, exiled me, and now I'm back to exact my revenge at the edge of a razor. And it's like, it's so dimly lit. Everything's grey and horrible, and it was just this gnarly juxtaposition. But it's like, while I enjoyed watching Hairspray and I had fun with that, who doesn't enjoy watching Christopher Walken and John Travolta dressed up as a woman singing about how much they love each other? That is undeniably a good time. But like, once again, it's that thing where the musically elements really pull me out of the cinema experience, and I'm like very aware that I'm watching something. Whereas this, I think, does a way better job of keeping you immersed in this super dingy, horrible version of London, Victorian London, and it's just dripping in it. It's weird.
Yeah, I did bring this up with you earlier, Dan. There's a musical Heathers, which has both a live stage version and there's a movie adaptation as well. My missus got me onto it. And yeah, it carries that same dingy, macabre vibe. Yeah. Way less noirish, way less Tim Burton sauce. Yeah. But just that juxtaposition between these songs that have such melodies. Yeah. And just the subject matter, because Heathers is a full-on murder flick as well. Yeah, you know, people trying out for each other's necks, literally. So, if anything, it's interesting to see that juxtaposition between something so dark and
and then something really bright and fun. Because it's like, like putting this up against another sort of big, bright, fun musical is like Grease Lightning.
Oh, Grease, yeah.
Is like. Granted, like the genre of music and the style of performance is obviously like chalk and cheese. They're two completely different things, but I think they do ultimately land in the same genre of musical cinema, and I think it's kind of interesting when you're watching Sweeney Todd because I think it's because it's so grim. I think when something is like very obviously happy and upbeat, it can kind of rob it of any of its emotional weight because you're like, oh, everything's going to be fine. Right. Whereas in this, you're like, man, everything's going so badly. like nothing is going well for any of these characters. And even when things do kind of look up, which I thought was kind of interesting. So like, Mrs. Lovett's pie shop starts kicking off and they've got customers and everyone's eating all these beautiful pies and they're so delicious. And you'll notice that all of a sudden the pie shop's very warmly lit. There's lots of lanterns and light and joy and people singing and playing. But then just upstairs, there's old Sweeney just waiting for the next bloke to come in for a shave who's never going to walk out. And it's like they play with juxtaposition in the film really effectively as well.
I was going to mention that use of color as well. The very first half of it is just grey and black. With splashes of red when people are getting murdered. And then, eventually these yellows and much more red starts bleeding through. Yeah. And, the palette just gets a lot more exciting and you realize how much you've been deprived of that because a lot of the color is audio.
Correct.
It's from the music itself.
Very much so. Yeah. Because that's why I think it's interesting. This threw my missus off so much as well. I think she had seen it once, but like ages ago and then only like the back half or whatever. But when Sacha Baron Cohen comes out,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And-
And
it's so good, and like it's so unexpected, but it's like the perfect point in the film to like inject a little levity and a little silliness and
things are starting to go his way a bit.
yeah, that's it. You know, you're like, oh man, he's this super accomplished barber, like he's weapon. And to have him go up against Signor Pirelli, it's just it's one of those wicked moments that I think tells you a lot about Sweeney, particularly because in that scene he sees Beetle Bartford and like reaches for his razor, and then Mrs. Lovett's like, not yet, and you know their dynamic sort of becomes very clear in that moment. But then to have Sacha Baron Cohen come out, do the Signor Pirelli thing, and the little kid that like is just trying to help him and be his assistant, and there's that wicked moment where he's sharpening his razor and he's just slicing this poor kid's hand up. And there's Sweeney just like doing it hell slowly and just like taking his time. He's meticulous and he shaves him up really quick. But it's one of those moments where colour is introduced, I think, quite a lot, because Signor Pirelli comes out and he's in this blue matador's outfit with this big fur coat, and like it's very exciting and very funny. You know, that he's talking about Signor Pirelli's miracle elixir that makes you grow hair, and they're like, nah, this is piss. You've just pissed in a bottle and you're trying to sell it to people as a hair growth remedy. And I always thought it was it was kind of weird, but there would have been like, you know, your snake oil salesman who'd be doing shit like that just in the street.
Yeah.
So that was always quite interesting. Now, there are a lot of like incredibly high tier actors in this. So the guy who plays Beetle Bartford,
Oh yeah.
Alan Rickman.
I love Alan Rickman.
Prime Alan Rickman, so good.
And his voice is great in this as well. Like it was cool hearing him sing in that like Snapey kind of way, you know. And so I think Beetle Bartford and Alan Rickman, they're both part of the Royal Shakespeare acting company. So they're like the creme de la creme of stage performers. Right. And they bring that kind of extraness to their performance. Because like Beetle Bartford, for example, I don't know what's the actor's name. You figure that out for me.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of stuff.
Timothy Spall.
Timothy Spall.
Yep.
He's excellent, and he's a pretty horrifying looking dude in this film. Like he's pretty ugly.
Yeah.
But there's that very performative. He's every time he like bows and curtsies and
Yes.
yeah, obliged to help my friends and neighbours. Like it's just
He carries that pretentiousness so perfectly.
so well.
Can I go on a little tangent here?
Please.
I absolutely hate that archetype that Spall plays as, where you've got the big baddie and then their little shitting of an underling. You know, the cream of worm tongues.
Yes.
I
henchman.
cannot stand that archetype for the life of me.
And what I've noticed about this actor is, you know, he was in Harry Potter and he played
Was he
Peter Pettigrew.
Peter Pettigrew, yeah.
And he is effectively that for Voldemort. And
then
it's
he
like,
comes back
he
and
does it. He plays those roles
don't-
well.
I don't know him from films where he's not the goated
just
minion.
the shit-eating, grinning minion. And
He's like a crap henchman,
yeah.
but he's just excuse my French. He's just a cunt in like everything he's in. But he's always so memorable and so brilliant, and his performances are always hit. Like I don't think I've ever seen him in something where I'm like, that was a weird choice to make him that. Because I've seen him in stuff where I can't remember what it was, but I saw him in something where he was playing a politician, like an English politician, and it was wicked. And it was like, you know, he was more like headstrong and knew his shit, and I was like, oh, he's actually pretty good in this movie. Yeah, I'm not sure maybe he wasn't a politician. Maybe it was maybe he was a business owner or something.
Right.
But it was just interesting watching him play something very different. But he came out for the first time you saw Beetle Banford in Sweeney Todd. My missus was like, oh. And I'm like, that's exactly what they were going for. Like just this
grub.
There's something like so gross about him that is just so repulsive.
He looks greasy as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, and then even the way when he's very carefully and dare I say it in a very demure way, just a little hot button there for everybody. He's trying to tell Judge Turpin that you don't look your best. You need to have a shave, a bit of stubble, like a nice perfume, nice cologne. What he's effectively saying there is that women are so dumb that if you shave, wear nice cologne and good clothes, that they will just bend to your will.
Well, he's just that much of a shallow twat that he'd believe it,
Exactly.
and that's what makes it that much better.
Because I remember, and like he sings this quite lovely little ditty to Judge Turpin. It's like
Pretty Women. No,
it's like a call and response thing in Pretty Women, because he sings the same thing with Sweeney shortly after this conversation, but it was just like, once again, that juxtaposition, this really like nice like little ditty, but it's all about how dumb women are, because all you need to do is shave, wear cologne, and you'll get whoever you want, and they'll just bend to your every will. And it's one of those moments where that, like, even though Judge Turpin is Judge Turpin and holds immense wealth and influence, it's like there are still just like issues. What? Really? Is he in that? Oh.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, no, Beetle Bamford was an absolute memorable part of Sweeney Todd. I love it. I thought you were saying that the guy who played, what was his name? The guy who played Beetle Bamford?
It was Timothy Spall.
Timothy Spall. I thought you were saying Timothy Spall was in the hit comedy Paul, and I don't think he was. No. Although I think he would have done really well with Seth Rogen in that film.
Oh yeah, with Seth Rogen, yeah.
What a character.
Paul's little gremlin.
Like another alien that's all ratty and is just like, just have a shave and she'll do whatever you want. Sweeney Todd, incredible. The music, because I've seen it on stage.
I want to see it on stage.
It's pretty awesome on stage. Where did I see it? I think I saw it in Sydney or Melbourne. I think it was Melbourne. And
it would be there. They never come to Perth.
They never come to Perth. No, never. No.
Right.
But the show was wicked, and they did the full trapdoor with the chair that swings back, and the once again the songs carry through so nicely. But they did, I think, sometimes when you watch a cinematic version of a musical, sometimes the music can become kind of too cinematic. In a way, it's like the music moves away from its like musical roots, its theatre roots, and then kind of begins to become something more akin to more standard cinematic music. But this movie is like perfect. Like it's very much so the experience you would expect from a stage. Like you could put all of these actors and characters onto a stage on Broadway and get them to do exactly as they've done here, and it would be just as good. And I think that that's a real testament to Tim Burton and the way that he made this film, as well as to all of the performers as well. Because I dare say they probably spent quite a bit of time working with people in the theatre who have done Sweeney Todd before and have just killed it and has just done such a good job. And there's like, it's undeniable that Tim Burton's fingerprints are all over this. This is Tim Burton's version of Sweeney Todd. Because even like in the theatre, there are versions that are way less noir. They're a little bit more colourful. Not a lot. They still sort of maintain that Victorian England aesthetic where it's, lots of chimneys and grime and the gutter filth and Beetle Bamford. Like you'll see that shit all the way through them.
I think the only thing I've seen of the stage thing myself is when Andrew Bernard on The Office does Sweeney Todd.
I haven't seen that.
No, so it's in The Office itself, where he does the acting in that show. That's the only thing I've seen of the stage play itself.
Who was the guy who played that character? fucking Andy's one of my favorite. Mrs. hates him. I don't know why. She just cannot stand him. I it might be the actor, it might be the character, but I just cannot handle. I reckon he's so funny. He was in the tangent. He was in the remake of
Ed Helms.
Ed Helms. He was in the remake of a film called Vacation, and it's not really a remake. It's kind of a soft sequel. So Chevy Chase was the original lead for the Vacation movies back.
The Christmas Vacation. and stuff.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
Are those the Lampoon ones?
Yeah, National
I
Lampoons.
thought that's
yeah,
the ones,
exactly. And they got Ed Helms to do one, and I think they only did one film. But please do yourself a favor. It is so good. It is genuinely fucking hilarious. There's a moment at the start where he's going through the features on this hire car they got, and I was in stitches the whole time. Like on my own, sitting in my room, out loud laughing, which doesn't happen very often. But man, that was just
What was it called
such
again?
a treat.
Vacation.
Just Vacation.
It's just called Vacation.
I've seen that the poster before.
Yeah, like
The
you
first
see.
thing I saw him in was in Hangover.
Yeah. That would have been like his first really big, like, proper role. But this movie, like, and it is like, you've heard the title of it, you've seen National Lampoons, you know what you're in for, but it's done really, really well. Like, it's absolutely worth a watch. Check Vacation out.
Is that Chris Hemsworth?
Wait, what?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, that is Chris Hemsworth. He gets his rig out heaps.
Hemsworth is in Vacation? Oh,
He's-
fuck, now I've got to watch it.
That's it. They're all there. The Avengers.
Hey.
They are back.
Back to Sweeney.
They had to be
Can I
back
talk
somewhere.
about the atrocious CGI parts at the beginning when it's going through the streets?
I don't think it was that bad,
No,
considering the year it was made.
No, I mean, yeah, for the year it was made, it wasn't that bad, but it felt so out of place in comparison to everything else in the movie. There's only two parts in the movie where I got drawn out of it. It was that at the beginning, because it goes from nice cinematics of the boat and going and see on feature, and then it's this weird CGI going zooming through the streets. It's like, well, okay, and then it goes back straight into normal cinematics for the rest of the movie. It's like, that was out of place.
Yeah.
The only other one that took me out of it was the Mrs. Lovett song about their life together where they get married and all that thing.
Oh,
that
yeah.
really took me out as well, because it's just so tonally different to the entire thing.
So good.
Where they're just like sitting under the tree on the blanket.
And
Yeah.
they're wearing that like hell weird fits, and Sweeney's just so depressed the whole time.
I have the image here somewhere.
Oh yeah, no, I just saw it. Yeah, there it is. Down. Down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too, Todd. Me
It's-
too.
Yeah. It hurts. But yeah, it's one of those.
I'm just imagining Johnny just sitting there on set looking like that. And him speaking in his deep voice like, why am I here?
What are we making right now, Tim? What is the point of this? Because that's one of the things I always thought was kind of weird, and I think it's probably because I was a younger man, is I never really understood why Mrs. Lovett was so like, come on, Mr. Todd, let's like be in a relationship. Like, look how good the pie shop's going. Like, everything's going so great. We've got this little layabout kid who we're going to adopt. Like, everything's sick. This is going to be so good.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious that he is in no way interested. But there are little things like during that song, for example, there's a moment where Sweeney puts his hand on her leg, and it's like there's these little elements of affection. But I also feel as though Mrs. Lovett's very much so like a means to an end for Sweeney. It's like he needs to get rid of the bodies, you know. But it's, I don't know. I think it's an important part of the character in that it's this weird love triangle between Sweeney and his mission, and then Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney. Like, Sweeney's so focused on getting Judge Turpin, doing all of that sort of shit, and she's so focused on like maybe this guy will love me forever.
Here's a bit of like a tangential relation. Have either of you guys seen Death Note?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, I was thinking of the relationship with Sweeney and Miss. I forget the character's
Mrs.
name.
Lovett?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Miss Lovett. It kind of reminds me of Light and Misa Amane.
Yeah.
How
There's
it's
that-
very one-sided, but
Yeah.
he kind of, accepts it because there's a benefit to the relationship.
He reciprocates just enough to like keep them there, but not enough to be like, I'm in this.
Yeah, he's so emotionally detached. It's all for profit, and he's like, fuck it, this is enough that I'll just go along with it until it doesn't benefit me anymore.
Exactly, and that's absolutely what it feels like here. Is like Sweeney's just like, well, she owns the pie shop underneath my fucking barbershop, so I might as well just deal with it.
It's somewhere to dump my corpses.
Yeah.
I get on to go on a murder spree.
She gets rid of him. Because that was another thing I really didn't remember from when I watched this when I was younger, was that the failed attempt on Judge Turpin's life at the start, Sweeney's just like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to kill everyone then. Well, just like the rich people, basically.
I'm pretty sure in the duet they have, they basically say, fuck it, let's kill everyone. Doesn't matter which class they are.
Priest,
But
Royal
what
Marines.
it was it was the failed attempt, and he says everyone deserves to die. That was that thing. And then like he was saying everyone deserves to die, but then it was more so Miss Lovett's idea to like, no, we could actually do this. Let's do it. With the disposal of the pie into pies. It was, she kind of pushed him into it as well. But he's like, fuck it, let's do it.
He was standing at the cliff and she gave him a little nudge. Yeah, no, that is... Because
I only noticed that when I watched it this time.
Yeah. Because I think like as much as Sweeney sees her as a means to an end, she also is like, well, meat's really expensive. And the person across the road is stealing cats and putting them into pies. So what's the fucking difference? You know, it's this very Victorian kind of macabre attitude to life, in that it's like, hey, if it's going to make my day a little bit easier or put a little bit more money in my pocket, why the fuck not?
The Industrial Revolution and its consequences.
Oh, the beauty of it. The viscera. A character we haven't touched on yet, whose name is escaping me right now, and
you're talking about the
young guy.
Not the kid, but the younger guy.
I know the actor's name.
Did you say the young gay guy?
I said the younger guy.
I forget what the character's name is, but it's Jamie Campbell.
Anthony is what they call him in this, not Anthony.
If anything, by the end, I was surprised that he and who's Todd's daughter?
Joanna.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
They made a song about it, man.
Oh, yeah, of course. How can I forget? But, yeah, just the fact that they really are the only two that survive all this mess. It kind of caught me off guard.
I thought innocent souls.
Yeah, I thought Jamie was going to get killed, you know. But, at some point.
He gets away with it. And that's kind of the thing is like, and I think that's part of the tragedy of this story is like, Sweeney exacts his revenge. He gets Judge Turpin, and he savors that kill. And then he's like so close to being like literally like right in front of her, kind of threatens to kill her, and then something else starts happening, so he has to leave. He hears Mrs. Lovett scream, and it's like, man, you were right there. You were so fucking close to having all the things that you wanted. And then they just take it away from you. Because I was kind of expecting it because it had been so long since I'd seen it. I was like, surely there's a sequence where Anthony and Joanna are seen like escaping together or something like that. But you don't get that. Todd goes down into the like cookhouse where Mrs. Lovett prepares all the pies, and she's just locked up that little kid. And he goes down there. Judge Turpin's still kind of alive. Not for long.
Well, he was twitching.
Yeah,
because he had a knife embedded in his nervous system.
Well, didn't he grab? He grabs Mrs. Lovett and
get off me.
Because that's right. So that happens, and then Sweeney and Mrs. Lovett are down there, and she's very much so once again like being like, it's done. Like, you've got Judge Turpin. We can be together. Like. It's all good. And then I'm trying to remember exactly kind of what happened, but Sweeney really turns on her.
No, okay, so what it is so they're so he's just threatens the his daughter, and then he hears the screams, and then he's like, get my name. He goes down there. That's when Alan Rickman's just about to die.
That's right.
And then they're saying it's done and that, and he goes, okay, because they were going to put him in the thing just to get rid of, dispose of the body. As the door opens, it shines the light on the beggar woman.
That's
who's his wife, and he
Yeah.
recognizes her face. And then when he realizes that it was her and that she wasn't died, and that Mrs. Lovett had lied about her dying,
Yeah.
even though technically she
didn't, yeah.
but she withheld information, so she lied.
She knowingly withheld that information.
And then that's what then caused him to go on and kill her.
Because that was such a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah.
Like, that was so rough. Once again,
He had
so
everyone
close.
in the same room.
Yeah. And the way he kills his wife was so nonchalant and so quick.
Just a
and,
flick of the wrist. He's been doing this for weeks and weeks by now.
He's accurate. He just slits her throat,
Kicks the
and
button.
pushes her down the hole. And it's just like, you know, in any other sort of experience, that would be this really drawn out, ultra emotional thing. But it's like, I love the way that in this production that the reveal comes like kind of way after he kills her.
Yeah, no, just the fact that she's glossed over as a character and then just immediately realize, oh shit.
Yeah.
You get that sinking feeling like Sweeney does.
It's like this beggar woman's throughout pretty much the entire movie, and it's like, oh, here she is, and she means nothing, and then she just dies immediately. Like, is that it?
Is that you're
And
like,
then,
I
and
guess
then
she's dead.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, okay.
Oh,
cool.
she was critical. Fuck. Yeah, because that was I think one of the more powerful moments, particularly because every other time you see her, she's like so ugly and so grotesque.
Well,
and
in the first moment you meet her, you don't even see her face. It's just ragged clothes
and
with
hair.
the hood and a bit of loose hair. Yeah.
And after that, it's only the warty mouth.
Yeah, that's it. You're given very, very, very little. And then it's only when she's lying dead and it's like the side of her face that you rarely saw because of the hair, but it was actually the side of her face that was the least deformed. And you're like, oh, fuck. And because I remember the missus was like, oh my God. And they lay the breadcrumbs so well. Like, you're so unaware of that twist coming.
Yeah.
Especially because there's so much shit going on in that moment. And we've just had the victory over Judge Turpin to just, like, rip the heart out of the audience and to take this very demonic character that is Sweeney Todd and just humanize him so aggressively at that point in the film. It just works.
Yeah.
Oh, another one that got out scot-free was the kid.
Yeah.
He got away with it.
Another innocent.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that the last moment where Sweeney's just like, he's got the body of his lover in his arms and he's lifting his neck. He realizes, oh, yep, I need to die.
He knows the kid's there. He doesn't finish his song. He just lifts and he goes right there and he's like, come on, do it.
Yeah. It's like, come on. No, that's it. It's like he gives him permission.
Yeah,
he raises his neck. He's like, go for it.
It's very cathartic after all this murder he's done.
That kid's a professional, though.
By this point, he's been hanging with them for a while, so he'd know a thing or two.
And he worked with Mr. Pirelli, so Signore Pirelli. Because that throat slash is super poetic, and like using his razors and like all of it's so good. And I think it makes it kind of a tricky film to critique in that, like, Tim Burton didn't write Sweeney Todd, or at least I don't think he wrote Sweeney Todd.
No, Sweeney Todd is a really old story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
they've got whole places in London for it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, either way, the way they adapted it and the way he's adapted
brought it to life on the screen was wicked. It was just done so well. Brilliant.
I can't help but find, kind of ironically, Miss Lovett basically says, "Oh, don't wait, don't murder him right away."
Yeah.
If he had not been murdering people and just held his knife, his lover came back to him. His daughter ended up coming back to him. If he had done nothing and just chilled for a while, it all would have played out fine.
All would have played out
It's
fine.
because he snapped and started making these rash decisions. That's what led to his downfall.
Well, I think that's what I think it was 15 years he was exiled for, 13, something like that. it probably fucks you up a little bit.
Yeah, it would for sure.
Yeah, you'd want some vengeance, and you'd feel hard done by everyone because it's like no one came to be like, oh, Sweeney didn't do that. Like there was no justice is what he was really searching for, but in this super twisted kind of way, in that he was just murdering a bunch of people and then feeding them back to the general public in the form of a nice yummy pie.
Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Lovett's pie shop when Signore Pirelli is upstairs and the little kid comes down and she's just... and the kid's like, fuck yeah, I'm going to eat these pies. And it's like...
Eat these pies and
cockroaches.
drink
and
these drinks.
Oh, have all this gin.
Yeah, just launching gin.
If anything, I was a bit taken aback just seeing this, 8-year-old just craving gin.
He was young.
There was no other coping mechanism for how fucked up the Industrial Revolution was.
And he came from the workhouses.
Yeah.
And that's what they fucking did back then, which just seems so insane now.
Yeah.
Like you would ruin a child if
sure.
you had him drinking gin at the quantities that kid was drinking gin. Like brain development is no longer in order. All the brain cells destroyed.
Yeah. They're all just workhorses by that point. They're not there for thinking.
No.
They're there for doing.
They're there for doing. Because that little kid, his role was fairly substantial and he did such a good job. Because I think sometimes when you get a really young actor, it can be kind of hit or miss. It's like either you use them a lot and you see a good performance, but if they're not very good, you'll use them very, very sparingly.
Yeah.
But he was fantastic, and I suppose with a character like this, he has to sing, dance, he has to move around a lot. He has a pretty pivotal character in that he's this this vehicle for the relationship between him and Mrs. Lovett, and she just falls in love with this really charming young lad. Even when he takes that wig off and he's scratching his head, he's got a little Cockney accent. It's so cute and endearing, and you're just like I really liked that kid. It's like I'd hang out with him. He sounds like a fun little dude, and he wants to just launch heaps of gin.
Yeah,
that sounds like a good time to me.
Party animal.
Yeah. the Victorian party animal. Because there's that really tender moment between him and Mrs. Lovett and it's pretty close to everything coming to a head.
No one's gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
No one's gonna hurt you. It's this beautiful song, and you can really. There's a really maternal energy from that, where it's particularly because Mrs. Lovett kind of sings it back to him as well, and it's
when they're looking for him in the sewers.
Yeah. That too is just super, and it's super grim as well when she realizes that she has to take him down to this cellar and then go and get Mr. Todd. Mr. Todd will come down and finish him off, and it's just after singing that song to the kid. And then being literally, it's she finishes singing that song and goes, "Do you want to see how the pies get made?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then she takes him straight downstairs, and you're like, "Oh fuck, this is so sad. This is so grim."
I forgot that's why they sent him down there.
Yeah,
I forgot that was why. And then when she locked that door on the way back up, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
Yeah, that's not ending good for that kid. What I always thought was kind of funny, though, was it felt like it took him a hot minute to realize that there were bodies everywhere. She's walking him around. This is the grinder. This is this. This is that.
Well, it's very dimly lit.
It is, but then it's not until later on when he starts closely inspecting the room that he realizes
and he notices the toe in the pie.
Yeah.
If anything, I feel like his reaction was a bit subdued.
Yeah, you'd be way more freaked out.
Yeah, it's kind of like he realized, oh shit, yeah, there's a body. That's not cool. I want out.
Yeah.
When really he should be screaming for bloody fucking murder.
Yeah, no shit. One thing I did notice this time. Sorry to keep sort of jumping around a little bit here, but with the with his wife, who is now the vagrant woman in the street, and she keeps sort of saying, talking about the smell and the stench, and it's like, look, I get it, London would be a stinky place, but the smell of rotting corpses or burning corpses is supposed to be this very distinct, very recognizable smell. And I'm like, if she's smelling it and yelling about it all the time, surely someone's like, oh, yeah, it is a bit fucking... It's a bit dodgy.
London is such a compact place. Surely you would have had a few hundred of your fucking neighbours, 7 people per apartment coming out like, oi, what's
the smell?
Yeah, what's the smell?
That smells bad. But at the same time, it's like they're shitting in chamber pots and just throwing them into the street. So
I mean, I thought that was more like Tudor era, but
oh yeah, true. What year is Victorian London?
I'm pretty sure that's like 17, 1800s.
17, yeah. Because there definitely weren't any cars. 1785 was Sweeney Todd.
There you go.
Yeah, that makes. You know what? When was Sweeney Todd written? I want to know. I want to know some background. Where did this thing fucking come from?
Do we want to take bets?
Ooh, I reckon that it was written in like 1912.
I was gonna say like 1950s, 60s.
Okay.
Am I guessing as well?
Have you Googled it yet?
What would your guess? What's your guess? Yeah.
Here we go. What do you got?
Somewhere between World War I, World War II.
All right.
Between there.
Okay, so like 1920s.
So you're guessing like
1846.
What?
Only about 100 years after it set.
Wow.
So Sweeney Todd's first known appearance in print was in 1846.
That would be like us
Dreadful.
making a musical about World War One.
A type of horror tale of the era that was published in serial form. So it was like a news in the People's Periodical. It's like a cartoon character from a newspaper that they then had stories about the demon barber of Fleet Street. And it just sort of developed from there into this worldwide phenomenon and smash hit musical and film. Wow, there you go. 1846. I was closest.
Yeah. That wasn't hard. When I'm guessing when bloody John Lennon and Paul McCartney are still together. So yeah, if anything, it's just amazing how topical it can still feel, just that rawness of English culture still coming through today.
Aging like fine wine.
Yeah, that's it. It carries. It still works. It still hits.
Yeah, not aging like gin though.
No, damn. I have to say though, as I was watching this and from having seen Hairspray recently, I don't think I like musicals in cinema format. I think I prefer them way more on stage.
I haven't seen a stage one, so I can't attest to anything.
Okay.
I kind of get what you mean. Like, just thinking about, like, musicians performing on stage, some acts are just better live.
Totally.
You get that visceral feeling from the stage, and some are better pre-recorded.
Yeah, See, I think that's definitely part of it. There was another thing in that, in film format, and I noticed it a lot in Sweeney Todd, is like there'd be this big song that would tie up like the first, second, or third act, and there's usually a moment when those songs would finish and there'd be like a little overture and the character would be there on stage, and then the lights would go down and the crowd would erupt, and the lights would stay down for a long period of time while the crowd's applauding and people have really enjoyed that song. And it was nice to have a moment to just really soak in that first act or to soak in that big song while they're like getting the next set ready for the next part. But in this, it's like a big song would happen, cut, next scene, off we go. And I'm like, whoa, I'm still kind of feeling the music from that last section. And I think that's what kind of throws me off a little bit when it comes to cinema versus stage.
I can absolutely understand it. This was very quickly paced. It's very tight script.
Yeah,
like,
it's moving.
Yeah, it is moving. It is
moving.
all gas. No curveball.
No brakes. Yeah, none. Because it works. It's great, and I enjoy it as a film, absolutely. But there are moments where I'd almost be like, when he gets to you'll know the songs, you will feel it. They're big cornerstone moments. It's like just at the end of that song, just pause it for a couple of seconds and just drink it in, because it's so good and the music's so good, and I think it helps drive the music home just that moment of silence where you can just be with that last note or be with that song for a sec, and it's so good. But I think it kind of ruins musicals on the screen for me.
Yeah, I can see that now, because I did think about it. Sometimes they'd be like da da da. Well, anyway, so how's this? Is that, yeah, I noticed that a few times.
They just keep going, and you're like, whoa, just let me just be in this moment for a little bit longer. I have to say, though, I really want to go and watch Sweeney Todd again now on stage, and particularly after I've seen this with a more analytical, with like a real focus on filmmaking. It's like, what like do I actually, like, is that actually my preference, or has it just been a minute since I've seen theatre and I enjoy that about theatre and I'm sort of craving it a little bit, but it didn't quite scratch that itch for me watching it on screen. So there could be something there.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate. I mentioned Heathers before.
Yep.
I've seen both the movie and the stage play.
Yeah.
Same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
The stage play definitely hits harder.
Yeah.
The movie didn't quite hit that same energy.
Yeah. It's like it's still good.
It's still good.
Yeah.
But yeah, musicals on stage just definitely have a different energy when all the actors can just actively bounce off each other in the moment.
Yeah.
Rather than from cut to cut to cut.
Yeah.
But you do still get those long takes where the
Yes.
actors can vibe. But
Yep.
just having that visceral energy, it carries it that much more.
So it's it is done really well.
Yeah.
I just had a thought and it popped right into my head, but it was that it's just after Anthony gets invited into Judge Turpin's house and they have this chat. Judge Turpin's super menacing and gives him the biggest hosing down. He's like, "Don't you fucking dare touch my ward."
Yeah.
And what I thought was kind of funny and possibly a little over the top was when Beetle Bamford kicks him out, literally.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of just stands there for a bit, just like kicking the shit out of him and hits him with his cane and then boots him and then throws the bag at him and he like hits the deck again. And I was like, that was a little bit slapstick. Like, he kind of just beat the shit out of this kid.
And then the kid gets up and then starts singing about how horny he is.
Yeah, yeah. And that was another thing that kind of caught me off of guard is he's like, I'll steal you, Joanna.
He looks at the wrong window as well.
Yeah, and I'm also he looks at the wrong window, and then I'm like, you haven't spoken to this. You've seen this person sitting in a window.
I thought that was really weird as well. He's seen her for maybe a total of 1 minute, and he's gonna fucking sacrifice his life for her.
I'm gonna steal you. It's like, ooh, that's probably not the right word. Like, that feels kidnappy.
It's definitely the kind of more corny thing you could accept in a stage play.
Exactly.
Whereas in a movie like this, it feels rushed.
It's
a
very,
lot of little moments like that do feel rushed in the movie.
Yeah, because I think like the whole Anthony's entire character is literally just like a vehicle for Sweeney getting back to his daughter. That's it. His character does nothing else in the film other than get Joanna.
And every time he comes back in, it's just an update on about what he's doing
to get Joanna.
Yeah. He's literally just that horny 24/7, thinking about this girl locked in.
I forget how little
How do I break
you
her out?
see him.
How do I break her out?
I forget how little you see him, because you see him for that big chunk during that musical, and then it's never again.
Nothing.
Yeah, he's introduced at the start on the ship, and apart from that, it's literally just he's horny.
And it's just coincidence that he happens to walk down Judge Turpin Street and see a girl sitting in a window, and it's just like, I want that.
Can we also talk? I don't know if you guys noticed it, but it was definitely in the first shot when they're on the boat. Todd, his face from like his eyes to maybe his mouth, blurry as hell.
Oh yeah, no. It's like the
like
focus is just on his eyes.
It's his forehead and his eyes and his chin, but everything else it's out of focus,
blurry.
and that really took me. I'm like, you could have had a bit more detail, but okay, I guess. It was really weird. Like, that was the first thing I noticed when I was looking at it. I'm like, ugh.
It's like, that was that. Yeah, no, I do remember seeing that and being kind of a little bit like, that's a choice. But that's it. It feels deliberate.
I barely see that again later, though, as well.
If anything, it didn't take me too much aback. It's just focusing on these little instances. It's
Yeah.
drip feeding the character to
I mean,
you.
I only noticed that when because I watched the like first 10 minutes like 2 weeks ago, just before we did the previous podcast.
Yep.
And that's what made me choose this film.
Yeah.
Because I said, you know what, I'll wait until we actually do it on the podcast. Well, I didn't have to wait that long. And then, because I went into that one going with the notepad.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, oh
Just
my
stood
God, yeah.
out.
And then this time I watched it, I'm like, you know what, I'll just watch it and enjoy it. And then I'll do my references
and thoughts
afterwards in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, because I think it's one of those films as well where there are a couple of little details and like Easter eggs and breadcrumbs that if you're not paying attention, you'll miss a few things. Like you'll still get all the same like basic beats and whatnot, but there's a lot of nuance, and I think that's probably something that can be done way more on screen than it can in a theater setting. Is they can really get into that detail, but I think you've picked up on a couple of things there at the start with that unusual in focus, out of focus kind of thing, and as well as the odd choice of CGI right at the start and things like that, where it's like they're things you can do in cinema but can't do on stage, and it almost feels as though they edited the first 20 minutes and were like lots of cinematic references like those things, but then they were like, it's not really working, we just won't do it for the rest of it, but we'll leave them in the first 20 minutes.
It does feel like they have two different editors for that first bit and then for the rest of it.
Yeah. It
just two completely different mindsets of how to...
disjointed.
Yeah, it's very disjointed.
I don't think it takes anything away from the experience, or like it doesn't pull you out of it too much, but it when you kind of look back on it with a fine-tooth comb, you're a bit like, someone made that decision. Someone chose to do that. Tim chose to do that. Tim was like, I like this. I like the way that there's CGI just here and nowhere else. But I also feel as though, like, if they used more CGI, you'd be like, well, there it is. There's the CGI.
Yeah.
Is this the actual, for those listening right now, Colby's just pulled up a picture. Is this Fleet Street that
It's
we're on?
185 Fleet Street
Yep.
in London.
Is that Sweeney Todd's
That would be what it would.
parlour?
Yeah.
So it's a much larger building than it is, because in the film it's this like little cottagey kind of thing on the corner with a second story above it. I love the skylights.
I mean, what?
Sorry, just to throw that out there.
Skylights.
It's fiction, isn't it?
Huh?
Yeah, no, yeah, it is fiction.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not based on a true story. There wasn't actually a
Yeah, well,
dude
then it
murdering.
wouldn't matter if it's the real place or not.
Yeah, I know, but I just like you hoped that
Yeah, but even then,
I just hope
it could
Johnny
have looked
Depp's
like
up
that.
there
They might have
somewhere.
just added onto it.
True. Yeah, they could have just built around it.
It has
and-
been 300 years.
Three, No.
17,
17.
18, 19, 20.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it has. Yep, no, you're right. My math was not mathing there. Man, that feels weird. That feels weird to say.
That does feel really weird.
I remember Victorian England. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, back in my day.
Back in my day when I used to get my haircuts with Sweeney, the best cuts in London, the only place to go. That song he sings about London is wicked. That one, it's very fast paced. I always forget the lyrics.
Another
to
the juxtaposition between Anthony's and his
Yeah.
rendition of it.
Yeah.
Same lyrics, different meaning.
Totally different meaning. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, where Anthony's describing it as more as a place of opportunity, and Sweeney's just so jaded and is like,
Filled with shit.
it's just a shithole. Why
Yeah.
would you want to find anything here?
Leave.
Yeah.
Go anywhere but London. London's the worst. I'm going to stay here, though, and murder a bunch of people and cook pies out of them. Fuck, Sweeney Todd. What a journey. What a film. Tim Burton, once again, just taking big swings, and they're landing. Speaking of Tim Burton, is anyone else really keen to check out the new Beetlejuice?
Yeah, I am. I love the first one.
I love Beetlejuice. I'm pumped.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, bring him back.
I'm so glad they got the original cast as well.
Yeah, they brought
It's
them all
good that
back.
it's not a reboot. It's not recast.
And I feel as though, what's his name? Michael Keaton. I feel as though he's just, from like the clips that I've seen and the trailers and stuff, he's just gonna come in.
He
swinging.
says the juice is back.
Yeah, the juice is back. Oh, it's so good. I'm so excited for that movie.
Little another thing off topic with that. I love when they first meet Beetlejuice. And he's like, "Do you have any qualifications?" "Oh yes," and he just goes from Michael Keaton into Beetlejuice. I've watched Shakespeare's Host 167 times, and it keeps getting better every single time.
He's such a good. Have you seen Beetlejuice, Coop?
I actually have not.
Dude,
Oh,
watch Beetlejuice.
Now I feel like what you felt for Bond.
Yeah. I was like, the fuck. Yeah, just check. Yeah, watch Beetlejuice. Drink a beer, smoke a juice. Watch Beetlejuice. It's fucking.
It's weird
awesome.
seeing Winona Ryder as a kid as well.
It is weird seeing Winona Ryder. I think as well, it's like it's one of those movies where because it always kind of reminded me of Rocky Horror Picture Show, in that it's just so balls to the wall. It's so crazy. There's so much wild shit going on, but at no point are you ever taken out of it. Like you're like so wrapped up in this story, and it's
Mr. Tallyman,
banana,
daylight comes and me one go home.
So good. It's so. It is just so. It's tapped. It's just ridiculous, and because I feel as though it's been a minute since Tim Burton's done anything really major, so I'm so excited just to see him jump into something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is doing something.
He's been doing Beetlejuice for ages.
Not just Beetlejuice. I swear I saw something else that he's been working on coming out soon.
Well, he did the Alice in Wonderlands in 2010.
Yeah.
Okay, hold up. I saw something on...
another one, Dark Shadows. I love Dark Shadows. That's another Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter movie.
Yeah,
I
awesome
love
movie.
Dark Shadows. It's so good, man.
Vampire movie. Yeah, no, Tim Burton has just...
No way he did Dumbo.
Bang. Yeah, see, that's what I just saw that then, and I was like, really? Oh, that little girl's wearing a black dress, though, so that makes sense.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't
He
Burton.
looks gothic as well.
It wasn't Burton I was thinking of. It was Studio Leica. They're doing Wildwood, and that's why I thought of Burton, because, like Coraline and stuff like that.
Well, I reckon, like he's not by any means a new director, and he's been around for a long time. So I reckon what we're going to start seeing way more is his influence. So you're going to see like a new Tim Burton or a couple of new people who do this very avant-garde, very like it's weird. It's like art house, but it's popular.
Right.
It's like I feel as though sometimes you watch something super avant-garde,
Throwing
super art
shade
house.
to everyone who's into art house.
Yeah, sorry everybody.
It kind of has become a bit of a default style for like auteurs and indie production companies.
Really driven by Tim Burton's stuff, and it's like it makes sense because it's super sick. But I feel as though it's one of those things where it's like kind of hard to pull off, because if you try and do Tim Burton, it'll look shit. Like the reason Tim Burton stuff looks amazing is because he is Tim Burton. It's like the concept for Edward Scissorhands is the most fucking ridiculous idea for a film.
Oh, yeah.
But man, does it work. Boy, oh boy, do I love that movie. Have you seen Edward Scissorhands?
I've seen it, yeah.
You have not?
I have not.
Oh,
my
add
God.
that to...
I'm
You need to
so
go on
sorry.
a Burton binge. Chew through his stuff. Batman, all of it.
This will probably get me kicked out.
I didn't know he did Mars Attacks as well.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
I do not like Tim Burton's style.
Ooh.
I do not.
Nah, I'm not going to hate you for that.
This is
I can
actually
understand why you don't like
Yeah.
it.
this is actually probably the first. Sweeney Todd is probably the first project of Tim Burton's, apart from like his Batman movies, that I've fucked with.
Yeah. Okay.
There's some of his projects I'm just not a fan of. I do not like his style.
Fair. No, I
It's-
can...
yeah.
I can...
Oh, and I did like the Charlie and Chocolate Factory,
Yeah.
but that's
yeah. So,
What
look,
about James and the Giant Peach?
I did like that. Yeah.
That's another Tim Burton one.
you've got some entry...
You do like him,
like
you
some
just don't-
entry level stuff, but
Do you
yeah.
like Nightmare on Elm Street? Not Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Good movie.
I liked it, but
Cool
it's not
animation.
because
You
of the
like
style.
you like his animated stuff.
I like the animated stuff, sure, but the live action stuff, I feel like his style just never really gelled.
Watch Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I will watch
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice just to humor you, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
I can look. I think he's one of those directors where it can be a very acquired taste, and it can be pretty difficult, I think, to get into him because it's so theatrical. It's everything he does is over the top. You know, anything he does with even the color, even though it's usually black, it's like so everything's really like juxtaposed, and it's very in your face directing. It's like it's like all of these choices are very obvious, whereas like other directors go for more like natural, grounded kind of things, whereas Tim Burton is like, oh, I did 4 tabs of acid, 3 kilos of mushrooms, and 4 hits of DMT, and then went to sleep. And then whatever I dreamed about that night is what I put onto the page and then made Johnny Depp and my wife, Helena Bonham Carter, do in front of me on camera. It's just like, it's like if you gave an insane person a bunch of money to make films with, that's what Tim Burton does. And it's just like, even you watch him in interviews and stuff like that, and he's the weirdest fucking guy. He's the weirdest dude in the world, but he is so uniquely himself. But no, I don't hold that against you at all.
Thank you.
I get that he is a fucking weird director, but he makes some really cool shit.
Yeah. It's no shade on Burton either. I don't hate him. It's just
you don't connect with his style very much. Nah, that's cool.
That is it.
That's good. How we look? Oh yeah, we're done real good. Just fucking blew an hour out of the water.
Zooming.
Oh, before we wrap things up and go to spinning wheels and pick films.
Hell yeah.
Anyone else see Deadpool Wolverine?
I did see that.
You see Deadpool Wolverine? Do you like Deadpool
I'm pretty sure
Wolverine?
I spilt it last time. Did I?
You didn't spoil it.
I mentioned something.
You mentioned a couple of bits and pieces, but they weren't. There was enough shit in there that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, that it didn't matter.
That I was like, all right, for those who haven't seen, I'm about to spoil the shit out of it. So just.
Boy, I'm about to make a
I'm
name
sorry.
for myself out here.
Yeah. Oh man, Channing Tatum as Gambit.
He's been on that for ages, man.
I loved it. It was so silly, and it was so good. What accent was he using?
Cajun.
I don't know. Was it Cajun?
Yeah, Cajun.
Oh my god.
From the bayou.
Can I just say when Blade came into shot?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I
satisfying.
I didn't know.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I knew Tatum was coming in as
Gambit,
but I didn't know that Blade was coming back as reprising. I love the thing where it's like, there's only one of me. I think they're already doing a new Blade with a new actor.
Yeah.
And then just Deadpool staring right into the camera, like.
Because and it's funny because the cameo that got me most is like, look, we had the Cavalrine who was so sexy and ripped, and everyone's like, dude, do it. I'd watch that movie. You know, Channing Tatum, but seeing Jennifer Garner come out as Elektra, see, because like that movie came out when I was probably, I don't know, I was probably 11 or 12. I'd recently watched Ben Affleck play, oh my God, Daredevil, and as a kid thinking that movie was fucking perfect. I was like, this is the sickest superhero movie ever.
I remember watching Daredevil. It was alright.
Well, I was so hoping that we were going to see, like, even if it was just because Elektra, Jennifer Garner's Elektra is in Daredevil. I was so hoping we were going to see a little bit of Ben Affleck in the Daredevil outfit doing his whole blind lawyer thing, but we didn't, which was a shame. But what I noticed about Deadpool and Wolverine is that in 20 years' time, that movie isn't going to work. It's not going to work.
A very topical right here, right now movie.
Yeah.
And while it is right here and right now, it is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of those references are just going to age like milk.
Yeah. Like I bet you there were heaps of people who saw Blade walk out and they're like, who the fuck is that guy? like why is everyone cheering? Like, he's not important. But it's like
some Donnie that hasn't been in a movie for 30 odd years.
Yeah.
Like to them, just in a couple of years from
now. They don't know who Wesley Snipes is. Like, you know, he was barely big when I was a kid. Like, you know, it was like they're not going to, all of these references just aren't going to matter. And it was something that struck me as I was leaving the theater because I was talking to my missus. I was like, this bit and that bit and this was how funny and these jokes were wicked and I'm like, oh no, they only work because it's 2024 and we live in the society that we live in. Like,
another great example that I think everyone can immediately relate to is the soundtrack. Goo Goo Dolls, NSYNC. It's literally our generation's soundtrack.
Yeah.
Did you hear how Ryan Reynolds and that did it?
No.
They had a Spotify playlist, and whenever they heard a song that they liked, they put it in there, and it's called Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wow.
There you go.
And then when they were making the movie, they're like, yeah, let's use this. And
that playlist would be fucking lit.
It is a good playlist. It's literally half of my music, so I'm not dissing it, but it is just super topical.
It's a product of its time.
It's a product of its time, and it's appealing to the 20-somethings that are gonna flock to watch it.
Yeah, because I think in order to understand all of the references in that film, you need to watch like 30 years of all of these random movies. None of them are connected to each other.
You don't just need the MCU saturation to play off, which is what Deadpool is playing off, but you also need all these fucking
other shit.
X-Men movies and all these spin-offs and Blade and shit. It's a lot of context that is just going to be lost on people in 5, 10, 15 years.
Yeah, so I'm glad they made their money now.
Yeah, no, it's...
Because and like there were definitely parts of it where I was like, look, this is by no means breaking any new ground in terms of like this is cinematic genius, but I was like, this is a giant film that is squarely aimed at the fans and is just like, these are all of the things you love.
That's okay.
It's wicked, and I'm glad that they've done it. And I really enjoyed watching the movie, but it did feel a little bit like here are all of the things that you want. Nice little pat on the head for the fans.
I say it in the best and the worst way possible. It's a fanfic. And in all the best ways possible, because it's what people want to see, but it's also rings a bit hollow here and there.
See, and I think that's sort of what I was like feeling a little bit of. I was like, I'm really satisfied because I understand all of this stuff really clearly. Whereas like my missus, who enjoyed the film, doesn't have anywhere near the extensive knowledge into like X-Men and Elektra and Blade and even Gambit. Like, just like these weren't characters that she knew or recognized from anything.
I mean, if I hadn't seen TikTok about how Channing Tatum really wanted to play Gambit and how I wouldn't have been as excited to see him.
See, I didn't know that and was confused as to why Channing Tatum was playing Gambit. I was like, why is it Channing? And then he started doing the accent. I was like, what is going on? It was hilarious. I was like, this is really funny. But I was like, this is so weird. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up right at the end there. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. But
could keep going, but
I could. Yeah, we could add it to the wheel.
Maybe.
We don't chase trends here.
Unless.
Perhaps.
I think that's a good point to build off for the wheel of movies. Today's topic for movie selection.
Okay.
MCU.
MCU
films.
Okay.
We're doing MCU.
And
this is bold.
Nah, I think I'll keep it strictly MCU. I was thinking maybe you can do MCU adjacent, so like the original Spider-Man movies, which are now technically part, but no.
Daredevil with Ben Affleck?
Yeah, no. Keep it strictly MCU made ones.
So Ghost Rider's out.
Ghost Rider's out.
Fuck.
Damn. Could we throw one curveball in there each? Like one of those extended?
We only get 2 each. So.
Yeah, so one mainline Marvel, Disney, MCU, and then one alternate.
Yeah.
Nah, we did that last time. I'm going to stick it straight
okay.
MCU.
All right. Plays the producer card.
Yeah. Nah, we got to draw a line somewhere.
I'm going to start with mine as the one I've done for like 3 times already, Captain America 1.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, good movie. Or we can't do TV shows?
TV shows are too long to watch in one sitting.
Yeah, and most of them have been mid, honestly.
I was going to put She-Hulk in there, but...
Do you want me to have a brain aneurysm? No, it wasn't that bad. That bad.
We'll get to it.
Anyway.
Me or Cooper next?
I'll go Cooper.
All right.
Iron Man 1.
Cool, classics.
I still think it's solid.
Iron 1.
Can I get you on a technicality?
What?
Can I do Edward Norton's Hulk movie? because that is
Ooh,
technically
that is-
a part of the MCU.
Oh no, yeah, no, I'll say
Yeah,
yeah,
it is MCU.
The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, the Incredible
yeah.
Hulk.
No,
It
that,
ju-
that is MCU.
It is
Okay, cool.
MCU. It just got recasted. That's all.
Yeah.
Ah.
When they were first announcing for Avengers, he says reprising his role as Bruce Banner, and then says
Eric Banner?
no,
The Australian guy?
no, the new guy,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and he says
Mark Ruffalo.
and
Yeah.
everyone's like, what the? He's not resigning.
He's not reprising his
Yeah.
role. He's been doing it the whole time. Yeah.
I'll go Spider-Man 3, so No Way Home.
Okay. Yeah.
No Way Home. Okay.
Cool.
Like it's Cap 1, Iron 1, Hulk, Spider 3.
Spider 3.
Gotta love the trilogies. Let's go with Iron Man 3.
Nice. All right, we're going after threes, I see.
Iron 3.
I'm going to put in Thor Dark World.
Oh, you cunt.
Jesus Christ.
You could have gone 1 or 3. You went 2.
I feel like we've been talking about too many banger movies. I just want to rib on something for an hour.
That's fair enough.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
We need more shit shows in here. All
Here
right.
we go.
Can you leave your laptop for a second?
Oh, that is my laptop. Apologies.
Oh, you don't need.
All right, we're spinning the wheel, ladies
Oh,
and
we're only
gentlemen.
doing half. Okay.
Yeah, it's because whatever the color is, we'll do it.
Okay,
It's easier
There's
that
always
way.
be 8 billion movies on there every week. All right, here we go. Send it. Spinning. Spinning.
And the winner
no,
is.
Iron Man
1.
1. Good
All
movie.
right.
Where it
Good
began.
movie.
Is it? Yeah, where it began.
Yeah.
Tony Stark built this in a cave
with a bunch of
with
scraps.
Oh, man, I'm excited. Get excited, ladies
Right.
and gentlemen.
Very
Iron Man
keen.
1.
Very keen.
Oh,
Well, thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, with that little chat. Lots of tangents there, but of course, Sweeney Todd being the mainstay of the episode, as always. Thank you so much for listening. Love you guys heaps. Colby and Cooper, always a pleasure having you guys on. Woo. We will see you on the next one. One more take, out.